Hey everyone, welcome to another MLM Dumpster Fire. Today we are here to watch a Savvi training. Savvi motivational training or something like that. That's what I wrote in my notebook anyway. I think there's gonna be a lot of that manifestation type of thing. I'm kinda enjoying recording only two videos. So let me know down below if you would prefer me to keep my schedule up for two videos a week, but make them longer format. 'Cause I've had some long ass videos in the last few weeks, and just with the fact that I'm editing Julie Joe's videos, it makes it harder for me to keep up with doing three videos for my own channel a week. It should either be like three short videos or two long videos for my own channel, and then I can keep up with Julie normally as well. I don't want to overwork myself. I've been there, done that before, but yeah, let me know down below, what would you prefer? Three shorter videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe just stay on two videos and just make them longer and maybe do like Monday, Thursday or something like that. I feel like that would be a nice little refresher anyway. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. That's a nice free way to support my channel, and big shout out to all my channel members. As always, I really truly appreciate you guys. I just named this Savvi Motivation, so I have no idea what we're about to watch, but I think I remember it was interesting. So let's just start.
Hey, Savvy Dream Tribe. We have a really special night. We have Drew Myers, motivational speaker, but I am not the one who set this up. It was the amazing Courtney on our team. So we love you, Courtney. We're so happy that we are locked arms with you. And I'm going to let you introduce what is going on tonight.
Hi, guys. I am Courtney Macy. I am from New Jersey. I just wanted to first and foremost say that this is such an honor and privilege to be surrounded by such an empowering and positive group of women. I've actually been with Savvi 1 month today. And from the moment I signed up, I'm blown away by the community. You guys have welcomed me with open arms, and I'm so looking forward to meeting, more of you face to face.
I find that interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I would feel a little bit weird if someone only joined a month ago and is like, hey, listen, this is how you do things. Unless they were specifically hired to improve some stuff. But I still feel like if you're only a month into a job, I feel like that's not really enough for you to actually know all the aspects and what goes into what needs to be improved and what can be better. You know what I mean? I feel like 1 month is not enough for you to be doing this. And maybe that's just me. Let me know down below if you had any other experiences.
In the next couple of months. I met Drew because I do have a full-time job. I work for the largest healthcare system in New Jersey, and I met him at our leadership conference the end of October, and I was blown away by him. Afterwards, I found him on social media. I wanted to become his friend, and so much of what he said resonated with me. So I was thinking hey, could I have prior to Savvi, maybe Drew could come, to my 40th birthday party and speak to my family. And then once I joined here, I'm like, this would be such a.
Did she just call everyone her family, or did she actually mean her own family? Did she bring a motivational speaker to her birthday party? That's interesting, I guess.
Perfect opportunity if he could speak to, our Savvi sisterhood. So Drew is a speaker, a coach, and he's an author. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Drew Myers to our Dream Tribe.
Thanks, Courtney. Appreciate it. Courtney, I need to say this before we get started. You're a rock star. You live on purpose, girl. And when you asked me to do this, I was like, yes. I didn't even hesitate. I said, let's go. I had such an amazing experience up in New Jersey speaking to Atlantic Medical Group. It was just a phenomenal event. Getting to meet you, getting to meet everybody up there, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So again, you said, will you do this? And I'm like, heck yes, let's ride. So guys, I'm super excited about this. This is my favorite thing to do. Not necessarily virtually. I love doing it in person. That's my favorite thing to do, but this is okay. I love to talk to people and generate hope, inspire action, and remind people to make the important things important. That's my message. Courtney knows this. I do not hide my message. I do not save it to the end. There's not a drop the mic moment. Make the important things important. My biggest fear when I speak is that people leave the room or get off the call and they're talking to their significant other, and they're like, oh, this really handsome bald man from Texas was speaking to us tonight. And they're like, well, what did he talk about? And nobody can remember. That's my biggest fear. So make the important things important. What I want to do over the next 20 minutes or so is to tell you part of my story.
I'm just being Kelsey from Pruvit now, but let me know down below. What do you think? Did he know that he's talking to MLM people, to people who are in a multi-level marketing company where up to 99% of people never make any profit according to the FTC? All the links, proof is down below in the description box. So he's generating hope in a business model where you are doomed to fail 99% of the time when you join. Did he not do his research, or is he there specifically for that, to make people stay longer and to generate that false hope for them? I would be very curious to find out what you guys think about it. I don't know, obviously I didn't watch it yet, so we'll see at the end of the call. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I want to really drive home, make the important things important, and then I might have a little random one-off story at the end. I've got a couple challenges for you guys as well. Some disclaimers real quick though. Disclaimer number one is I realize that probably 99% of the people on this call have no idea who I am. And guys, I am okay with that because it doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's about the message. Again, make the important things important. The second disclaimer is nothing that I say on this call is going to be breaking news to you. You have heard it before, but I encourage you to stay with me. Don't give up on me, because somebody told me once that I have the ability to take what's spinning around in a lot of our heads and presenting it in a different way. So maybe you've heard it before, but maybe it resonates today. Maybe you actually hear it today. The last disclaimer is this. I need everybody on this call to admit that you live a blessed life. Not a perfect life, not a life that's short of challenges, but a blessed life. We have so many blessings that we take for granted, whether it's our HVAC, whether it's the food in our pantry, whether it's the shoes on our feet, the clothes in our closet. I bet you $1 million that every single person on this call has at least one person that loves and cares about you. Again, all of those things are blessings. And the reason why I bring it up before I speak is because when we need to make a change in our lives, because we are blessed, we don't have to make wholesale changes. Little tweaks here, little tweaks there. I say this all the time. We do not have to drive the car off the road, through the ditch, through the field, and into the river to make a change in our lives. Because we live a blessed life, little tweaks here, little tweaks there. So those are my disclaimers. Now I want to share my story with you guys. Now, the reason why I want to share my story with you guys is because I love story. Story is what differentiates everybody from everybody else. I'm going to say something that may make some of you feel uncomfortable. It'll make you feel uncomfortable because it's the truth. And here it is. You're a masterpiece. Every single person on this call is a masterpiece. You are one of a kind and you are beautiful. Our story celebrates that rarity and that beauty. I'm a firm believer when you know somebody's story, you cannot hate that person. There is a level of understanding. There is a level of empathy. There's almost a level of love. So I could not jump on this call without sharing part of my story. I wouldn't be walking the walk. I'd just be talking the talk. So here's my story. I grew up in South Dallas, went to school northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, a little Division II school called Midwestern State University. I was a long-haired narcissistic journalism major. I wrote for the school newspaper, and I wrote about hard-hitting things like showering in the dark, fishing shows, and what if I changed my name from Drew Myers to Love Myers? I mean, hard-hitting journalism, ladies. I wrote that column to get people to think differently. That was my point of writing that column. And that showed up again later in my life. But after I graduated from Midwestern, I had 11 jobs in 11 years. That makes some people feel uncomfortable as well. My dad told me when I was growing up, if I wasn't happy with what I was doing, go do something else because life is short. And I wrapped both of my arms around that concept and squeezed real tight. I was everything from a newspaper guy. That's what I went to school for. I went back to Midwestern. I worked as an admissions counselor. I was a college football coach.
Yeah, okay, I understand that logic and I agree with that, but 11 jobs in 11 years. So you change your job every single year, like once a year. After a while, that is a red flag for an employer. If they see that you're jumping ship so quick, like you barely get into your role and then you're moving on to the next one straight away. At least for us, when we're hiring people, usually we do pay attention to that. Like I said, it's normal that it happens here and there, and sometimes you change some jobs quickly. Is it them or is it you? Are you gonna leave us that quick as well?
I was a recruiting coordinator at a major Division I university, and I'm super proud to say this right now. Go Frogs. TCU is in the college football playoffs, and I used to be on staff at TCU. I worked my way up into athletic administration. I was the first ever director of communications in the athletic department at TCU. And then I got bored and I left and I started my own business, and just this roller coaster after that. And I was everything from a consultant. I worked at an ad agency. I worked for an oil and gas company doing marketing for them, trying to find my place. The last real job that I had, I was doing real estate in the small town that I live in now. I live southwest of Fort Worth, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, in a town called Rainbow. Rainbow is a suburb of Glenrose. Glenrose is this big. Rainbow is this big. And I started doing real estate down here, and I hated it. I did not like it in any shape, form, or fashion. But what it did do is it changed the trajectory of my life, because one day my broker says, hey, they're moving a radio station here, and I want you to take the owners to lunch. And I think he wanted me to sell them a house, but they offered me a job. I remember eating on the square downtown Glenrose, a little place called the Green Pickle. Mike and Julie Green are sitting there, and I'm telling them about 11 jobs in 11 years. I was in newspapers and I did sports, and Mike Green offered me a job. He said, do you want to be on our morning show and be our news and sports director? And ladies, I did not.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess it's not a red flag for all employers, but from my experience, it would be a red flag for most of the people that I worked for and companies that I worked for, but I don't know. Let me know down below about that one as well. Geez, I really am feeling like Kelsey, and I'm just trying to boost the engagement.
Not even let him finish asking the question. I was like, I want some of that. Yes. Again, I was hating real estate, and I was looking for something different and something new. And the idea was I would go to the radio station between 4:45 and 5 o'clock, get the news and sports together. We'd go on the air at 6, be off the air at 9. And then I was supposed to go back and do real estate after that, but I never left the radio station. I loved being there. And after the morning show one day, Mike and Julie asked me to hang around, and they said, hey, you're always here. And I said, I know, I love it. It's great. And they said, we can't pay you any more money. And they weren't paying me that much money to begin with. And I said, it's okay. You don't have to pay me any more money. I said, give me my own show. And Mike looked at me and he goes, what would your show be about? Now, push pause on my story, rewind to 11 jobs in 11 years, okay? During that time, I started to write again. Remember when I was in college, long-haired narcissistic journalism major, they wrote a column for the school paper. Well, I started a blog, and like 3 people read this blog. My mom, one of my sisters, not even both of my sisters, and then this girl named Amy Bennett. And the reason I knew Amy read my blog is because she sent me an email once, and it said, you need to do this and write about it on your blog. And this was to make a list of 101 things to do in 1,001 days. And I was like, okay, that sounds stupid. Deleted the email. It reminded me of those emails that we used to get that said, forward this to 15 people or you're going to get eaten alive by crickets. It just sounded dumb to me. Amy stayed on me. I really think you should do this. Make a list, mark stuff off, write about it on your blog. And she broke me down, and I eventually brainstormed and came up with a list of 101 things to do in 1,001 days. Some of those things were little things like eat a double scoop of ice cream or eat lobster, go to a wine tasting. Some of them were big ticket items like throw out a pitch at a Major League Baseball game, meet the president, summit a 14,000 foot mountain in Colorado. Then I started marking things off. I went to that wine tasting. I sold something on Craigslist because I'd never sold anything on Craigslist. Then I would write about it on my blog. And the cool thing is people started to read my blog. The really cool thing is people started making lists of their own. And 2 of those people were my friends, Dave and Kimbra Quinn. They lived out in West Texas. And I went out to see them about a year after they made their list of 101 things to do in 1,001 days. And Dave and I are sitting around the house. It's a Friday afternoon. We're drinking cold beer. The kids are playing. And I said, hey, where's your list? Let's get it out. Let's mark something off this weekend while I'm here. And he left the room and he was gone for like 15 minutes looking for this thing, and comes back. And on his list was like to see Kenny Chesney in concert or something. Kenny Chesney was nowhere near this little town that we were in. He wanted to get a massage. I don't think he wanted me to lay him down on the couch and rub his back. That's
Okay, I personally feel like his story is. Why is my mic being weird? His story is a little bit too long. I mean, we're already like 10 minutes into this, 11 minutes into this, and he's still just talking about himself. I guess motivational speakers do that, but I feel like this is a bit too long. Maybe it's just me being tired. I didn't get much sleep last night, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say because he's just talking about himself and his past, and there's not much to say about that.
not what he had in mind. But at the bottom of his list was make chocolate cake for his wife. Now, the backstory there real quick. When they were going to school at Texas A&M University and they were dating, he would make her chocolate cake all the time. Well, then they got married, had kids, life happened, and he stopped doing it. So I said, let's do this. Let's mark this off your list. And he hemmed and he hawed. And he goes, I don't know. It's been a long week. We're drinking cold beer. The kids are blah, 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 all the excuses. And finally, I said, Dave, stop. No more excuses. Go to the store, get a cake mix. Let's do this. So that's what he did. Ran to the store, got a cake mix, come home, whips it all together, gets it in the oven. So when Kimbra walks into the house smells exactly like chocolate cake. She goes, oh my gosh, what's going on? And Dave said, wanted to make you chocolate cake. It was on my list. So that's what we did. And it was almost as if somebody had told Kimbra what we were doing, because she immediately says, I want to mark something off my list. I want to eat that chocolate cake on my grandmother's fine china. So that's what we did that night. After we ate dinner, we ate homemade chocolate cake on Kimbra's grandmother's fine china. Marked 2 things off their list, which was really cool. But the really cool part of this story is the conversation that we had around the dinner table. We talked about other things that we can mark off, other things that we could help each other mark off. Right then and there, I turned mine into a gigantic thank you note to God. I had lived a blessed life to that point.
Of course, isn't it? It has to be a note to God and the word blessed.
And I did not want to thank him by, laying on the couch, eating spicy Cheetos and binge watching, Better Call Saul or The Wire or whatever. I wanted to live life.
What's wrong with watching Better Call Saul? Bob is a great actor. He's very interesting. And so is Saul, great character. Mike, I binged watched it and I never regret that. And I would binge watch it again probably. I think I liked it more than Breaking Bad, honestly. I don't know why. Maybe because of Mike. He was a really good character.
I also started to refer to this list as a life list. It's a lot like a bucket list, but I wanted to put an emphasis on the life, not the death. The definition of a bucket list are things that we want to do before we kick the bucket, but we all think we're going to live forever, so we never do those things. So I started calling it a life list, turned it into a gigantic thank you note to God. So when Mike Green, owner of 95.3 KOME, where country and rock come together, the new radio station in Glen Rose, Texas, asked me what my new show was going to be about on Sunday nights, I said, it's going to be about that. I wanted to bring people on the show, hear their story, and ask every single person if they had a life list or a bucket list. If they did, we talked about it. If they didn't, we brainstormed things that would be on a list. And then at the end of the show, I asked to see their list. Because remember this, it's fun to make a life list, and it's neat to mark stuff off, but it is a game changer when you can help someone else.
I don't feel like that would be a show that I would enjoy to listen or watch. Also, I'm failing to see how is this relative to an MLM? Do you have to write down a list of success you want to achieve in an MLM and then you're going to be successful, or how does that work? Kind of failing to see the point of this. I feel like maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. Who's he speaking for,
Put their goals, dreams, and aspirations in the spotlight. I asked to see a copy of their list so I could hopefully help them mark something off.
Gosh, imagine if you're at a birthday party and then this dude is boring you with this story for the last 15 minutes.
So for 2.5, 3 years, that's what I did. I talked to professional athletes. I talked to authors. I talked to singer-songwriters on the Texas music scene. I love Texas music. I talked to people in Glen Rose, Texas that just had cool stories. Again, heard their story, asked them if they had a life list. Then I asked if I could see it. And some really, really cool things came out of that. I would say things like live on purpose. I would say life is short, life is precious. We need to act accordingly. I would say we need to put our goals, dreams, and aspirations in the spotlight. All of those kind of fit into that life list programming, if you will. But you're thinking right now that's not what your message is. Your message is make the important things important, because that switched along the way. Two things happened to make me switch. One of them was a solo trip to Big Bend National Park. I went down there by myself. I ran into a buddy of mine named Walt Wilkins. I told him that it had always been on my life list to go to Big Bend. I made a special trip. I was very intentional about it. And he looked at me and he said, I'm glad you're doing that, because that's important. And then about 6 weeks later, that seed that Walt planted was watered when my friend Kylie Ray Harris was killed in an automobile accident outside of Taos, New Mexico. Kylie Ray was a singer-songwriter on the Texas music scene, and she made a very stupid decision, two very stupid decisions. She drank too much and drove too fast, and she killed herself and a 16-year-old girl outside of Taos. And Kylie Ray and I weren't best friends, but she had been on my show. I'd gotten to know her. She was young, she was beautiful, she was talented, she was a mom. Her death rocked my world. But when she was killed, I didn't think about her life list. I didn't wonder if she, summited Mount Everest or went scuba diving with sharks. Or
What about the 16-year-old girl that was innocent and that lost her life? Not even gonna bother to mention her and the loss that her family must have felt. She wasn't the one drinking and driving. It was her reckless driving that took away an innocent kid's life. So, sure, he acknowledged that it was a stupid decision, but still, yeah. Poor girl, that's terrible.
I asked myself, did Kylie Ray Harris make the important things important? Again, Walt planted the seed. The death of my friend Kylie Ray Harris watered that seed. And from that moment on, I have stood in front of people across the world and remind them to make the important things important. All those other things I used to say, live on purpose, life is short, life is precious, act accordingly, put your goals, dreams, and aspiration in the spotlight. All of that stuff is good, but it now all fits under the umbrella of make the important things important. So what I want to do real quick, I'm going to change my...
Whoop. Uh-oh. Oh no, he muted himself. Damn.
We can't hear you.
What did you do, Ray?
Is that better? Now you can hear me? Got me? Okay, so I want to do something real quick. Now, when I do this in front of people, Courtney, you know the punchline here, so don't mess it up. If I need you to close your eyes for just a second, and I want you to think about what's important in your life, just real quick. 15 seconds, we'll do 10 seconds of what's important in your life, rapid fire. What I love about this charge is I can't tell you what's important to you. You have to figure it out on your own. And then you have to put an emphasis on those things. Just a couple more seconds. What's important to you? Okay. I can see a handful of you guys right now. What I want you to do, if one of these three things was on your list of important things, just wave at me. Okay. Like Christine, I can see you, and Marsha, I can see you. If this was on your list, just wave. Okay. One of these three things. You ready? Instagram, Facebook, Netflix. Just kind of wave at me like this. Just go like this. Oh, you guys don't understand. If it was on your list, you're supposed to wave at me. No? Good. I can't see all of you, but I'm just going to make an assumption here that nobody waved at me because those things aren't on your list of important things. But ladies, I need to say this. The statistics say otherwise. Got a little sheet of paper here. I write it down because I don't want to mess this up. The average American spends 3 hours a day on social media. That's 1,095 hours a year. That's 45 full days on social media. TV's worse, 5 hours a day. That's one.
He is telling that social media is not important to people who are trying to make a livable wage through social media. And he's just telling them that social media is not important and it's a waste of time. He does not know who he's talking to. He just strolled over, decided to talk for 20 minutes about his life and then bring a conclusion that's totally contradictory to everything that they ever teach you in most MLMs, because most of them work majorly through social media and it's very important to them.
1,825 hours a year, that's 76 full days. This is Texas math. If you add those two together, it's 121 full days of screen time. Social media and TV. You said it wasn't important. Statistics say otherwise. I love to plant that seed. It gives you something to think about. I am just as guilty as everybody else. But we always say we don't have time for this, we don't have time for that, but we are spending hours and hours and hours on social media and TV.
Dude, that's it. I expected something different from a motivational speaker. This is what we always hear. Stop scrolling on social media so much. But then who's going to see your amazing opportunity if people are not spending time on social media? It's completely contradictory. And yeah, my conclusion is that this dude has no idea who he's talking to. He's got no idea why he's here.
Now, let me make some assumption of some things that were on your list. Okay. Food, water, shelter, hopefully on your list. You need those things to survive. Hopefully they were. What about time? Was time on your list? Hopefully it was. Time is a commodity. We only have so many hours every single day. We only have so much time on this earth. What about other people? That's a pretty safe assumption, right? Other people were on your list. Maybe it was specific people. Maybe it was your kiddos or your spouse or your neighbor or your best friend. People, yeah, those are important. Now, the next one is not an assumption. It's kind of a hope. It's kind of a wish. How many of you guys put yourself on that list? I can't see everybody, but I've been doing this long enough that I know most of you did not. Because somebody told us along the way that if we make ourselves a priority, we're being selfish. Well, I'm going to flip that on its head. Because I'm a firm believer that if we are not making ourselves a priority, we cannot be a light for the world around us and pour into other people. To be the best mom, to be the best boss, to be the best teacher, doctor, lawyer, whatever it is you do, you cannot be the best at it unless you take care of yourself. Self-care, self-love, self-protection are so important. The true epidemic in this country is the lack of self-care. So, Walt Wilkins' plan.
That again contradicts the MLM hustle mentality because you have to sacrifice stuff in order to get successful. And then once you get successful and financially free, then you're going to be able to do, as much self-care as you want. So again, very contradictory. He doesn't know who he's talking to.
The seed. Kylie Ray Harris watered the seed. Make the important things important was my message, but I added 3 very important words. Make the important things important, starting with you. I'm giving you guys permission right here, right now, not that you needed my permission, to make yourself a priority. You have to. But you have to in order to pour into others. You have to in order to be a light for the world around you. If you just make yourself a priority and you stop the conversation there, yes, you are very selfish. But if you do it so you can pour into others, it's a very powerful place to be. So how can you do that? How can you make yourself a priority? I'm going to give you a handful of things right now. Thing number 1 is please stop using the word busy. Ladies, we all have a lot going on. Just stop saying busy. Say something else. It's not a busy thing. It's a priority thing. If something is important enough to you, you are going to do it. I promise you.
That doesn't change the fact that you're still busy with doing stuff that are important to you. What is the point of this? I don't understand this. I never understand motivational speakers. Just half of the things that they say is word salad to me. I have to say it here. This could have been an email.
When you remove busy from your vocabulary, and you can say, I say ripping and running. It means the exact same thing, but I just take busy out of the conversation. When you remove it from your vocabulary, you catch yourself saying it more often than not. And when you hear other people say it, let it be a reminder that it's not a busy thing, it's a priority thing. Make the important things important, starting with you by removing busy from your vocabulary. The second thing that you can do to make yourself a priority is please pay attention to how you talk to yourself. You guys all talk to yourself, right? You do. Spoiler alert, you do. The problem is that a lot of times when we talk to ourselves, it's ugly, it's mean, and it's destructive. They're lies. We are telling ourselves lies. Oh, I can never do that. I'm not smart enough. Oh, I can never do that. I'm too out of shape. Or worse, I'm fat. Or I'm stupid. I'm not worthy. Guys, lies, lies, lies. I hit rock bottom in 2019. I write about it in my book, The Tacos and Chocolate Diet. When I have more time, I like to share that story. But what pulled me out of the darkness was prayer and affirmations. These are my affirmations right here in my journal. I'm going to read some of these affirmations to you guys. Okay. Truths and affirmations. I am strong. Stay in the fight. I am bold. I do make the important things important. I am worthy. I am inspiring. I do live on purpose. I do love hard. I do help other people discover their uniqueness. I am not perfect. Be weird. Perfection is BS. I will break through. The cool part about affirmations is the more often you tell yourself those truths, you will start to believe those instead of the BS lies. Because that's the bad part about talking to yourself in a destructive, mean, and ugly way, because you start to believe those lies. So start to make the important things important, starting with you by paying attention to how you talk to yourself. And the last thing that you can do to make yourself a priority, we've already talked about it. Make a life list. Put those goals, dreams, and aspirations in the spotlight. I have a list right now. It's 55 things to do in 555 days. It does not have to be that. It doesn't have to be 101 things to do in 1,001 days. It could be 5 things that you want to do before the end of the year. It could be, this is a great one. I'm working with a client right now, a coaching client. I said, hey, let's do 23 things to do in 2023. Just little
coaching client. I wonder how much money do people pay for this nonsense to him. I mean, it's nonsense in my opinion. Maybe it works for some people, but yeah, to me personally, I just can't see it. I don't see it.
Things that you want to do, big things that you want to do. Where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? What do you want to experience? What do you want to learn? Put those goals, dreams, and aspirations in the spotlight. Write them down, because ladies, there is nothing more powerful than putting it down on paper, taking steps to accomplish that goal, actually doing it, and then marking it off. Because when you mark something off a life list after you accomplish it, the immediate next thought that goes through your brain every single time is what's next. It creates this amazing momentum, this amazing snowball effect. Make the important things important, starting with you by making a life list. So
this literally could have been an email. How many times did he say the same thing? And we're already like 26 minutes in. I know this is a little bit of a torture. From time to time, we have these kind of videos that are not particularly exciting, but I feel like it still gives us an insight on the manipulation that goes on in the MLMs. But this particularly mostly shows us how they just bring on random people to try to motivate people to work harder in MLMs. Like, I'm 90% sure that this guy doesn't even know who he's talking to, why he's here. He just was asked and was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And yeah, didn't prepare, didn't do his research, didn't do anything. And then these people are just wasting their time listening to this for half an hour, being like, oh yeah, I should work harder. Okay.
I give you probably 15, 20 more things that you can do to make yourself a priority. That's just 3. So I want to close things down right now by sharing just a quick story with you guys. Courtney, I can't remember if I shared this when I was in New Jersey, but it's my most favorite thing that I've ever marked off my life list. It was on one of my first life lists, and it was to take my son Crash camping. My son's name is Crash. Yes, like crash your car, crash an airplane. We were coming off 4th of July weekend in Texas. We were going to get away for a couple days to a state park that's about 25 minutes from the house. I remember being at the gate, all the excuses going through my head. It's too hot. We're coming off a holiday weekend. Don't need to take any more time off. I was doing real estate at the time, and my clients may need me, blah, 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 all the excuses, right? But But then I gave my excuses the middle finger, and that gate opened and we drove out. We drove 25 minutes from the house. We weren't going to the Grand Canyon. We weren't going to Big Bend. We were going 25 minutes from the house, and we had an amazing time. We camped. We made a fire. We ate s'mores. We caught fireflies. We swam. We canoed. We hiked. We did all the camping things. Crash was 4 years old at the time when we did this. And it's one of my favorite things that I've ever marked off my life list because I gave my excuses the middle finger. But the thing I love more than anything is the last night we were there, Crash made his first life list. 10 things that he wanted to do and 10 in the...
Didn't he say he was 4 years old? Why did you make your 4-year-old do that? What are we doing? Also, man, this guy loves talking about himself. He literally just came over to talk about himself for half an hour.
10 people he wanted to do those things with. He wanted to build a sandcastle with his mom. He wanted to build a tree house with me. He wanted to go fishing with his poppy, who's my father. He wanted to go to a Ranger game, the Texas Rangers. Love the Texas Rangers, with his cousins, Jake and Cal. And the cool thing about this, ladies, my son is now 12 years old and he talks like this. Dad, can we add stuff to my life list? Dad, can we mark something off my life list? I have interviewed hundreds of adults that don't get it. And my 12-year-old son does. That's why that is my all-time favorite thing to ever mark off my life list, to take him camping when he was 4 years old. Make the important things important, starting with you. Courtney, thank you so much for this opportunity, girl. Thank you guys for allowing me to jump on here.
Thank you for the opportunity for me to talk about myself for 30 minutes.
Just say this before I get off, though. I did a little research on this company that you guys are working for, on Savvi.
Did you though?
You guys are living on purpose. You guys are being intentional about life. You are making the important things important. And I appreciate that. And I applaud that. Part of me feels like I'm preaching to the choir. You know what I mean? You guys are already doing this. And I think it's fantastic. So hopefully maybe I said one little thing that just threw a little bit of gas on that fire.
Yeah, because you said everything contradictory to what they're being taught to do in an MLM. They have no time for self-care. They have no time for themselves. They just have to work the business until they get financial freedom, until they get to the top, which they never do in 99% of cases.
Inspired you just a little bit. So keep doing what you're doing. You're already making yourself a priority. You are already living.
How are they making themselves a priority if they're working themselves out, they're neglecting their families, possibly friendships and whatnot, and they're just burning themselves out because they're constantly hustling? How is that making yourself a priority?
On purpose. Just keep going. Keep going. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I can see the little chat coming up at the bottom. So,
oh my gosh, you guys, take yourselves off mute and say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
That was
incredible, as
amazing.
always.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for doing this.
I have a funny story. So like most of the call, I didn't switch over so I can see your faces. Like I can see Christine and Marcia now, and I can see Melissa, but I could just see me. I didn't know if you guys could hear me. I didn't know if you were responding. I was just looking at me and I'm like, all I know is I'm talking really fast and I'm sweating profusely. So that's all I know. Good.
Thanks, guys. And Drew, I hope you have a fantastic holiday with your family.
Thank you so much. Hey, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, please do.
Pimp yourself out, Drew. How do we find you? Are you on Amazon?
Yeah, if you want to check out.
Okay, I think we've heard enough. We're not gonna let him dox himself completely on this call. This was just basically a bunch of nonsense, nothing related to MLM. He had no idea who he's talking to. I don't think he did. Yeah, he just spoke about himself for 30 minutes and that's somehow supposed to motivate these people. Also, he kept saying you should prioritize yourself, take care of yourself, and then that's how the success comes, whatever. But again, all you do in an MLM is hustle, hustle, hustle. You don't have time to prioritize prioritize yourself because you're taught from the beginning that you have to hustle. And then he made a plugin for his social media at the end. I don't think they paid. I think this is just him coming over to talk shit for half an hour for free and then just hopefully get a few followers, I guess. I don't know. Was this worth it? Did you make it to the end? Let me know down below. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do end up torturing you guys with videos that I pick. I just saw a few minutes of this and I thought Jen was gonna be a little bit more involved because she's very problematic. So it is what it is. I mean, if you're still here, thank you so much. You are a trooper. I really appreciate that. And don't forget to click that like and subscribe button if you'd like to support my channel. And as always, big shout out to all my channel members. I really appreciate you guys and I will see you all in the next one.